The whole galaxy celebrated while you mourned, Leia said softly. Luke shook his head. I wasn't the only one mourning. Leia glanced at the stormtrooper's helmet. No, I suppose not. How are you? Luke's voice was sincere, but Leia wasn't sure how to answer him. This was supposed to be a triumph, but all she really felt was confused. Not just what Luke had told her about her lineage. Their connection was something she'd felt for some time, and it had been easy to accept Luke as her brother. She would not think about what that meant of her biological father. No, it wasn't just that. It's the Force, isn't it? Luke asked. Leia nodded. She had told Luke that she couldn't understand the power he had, but he seemed eerily calm and confident that she could actually wield the Force as he did. Leia might not have any real experience with the Force, but there was no denying the power Luke had, the power she felt too, like a fluttering of flitterfly wings just on the edge of her consciousness, waiting for her to seize it. He told me to tell you, Luke started, but Leia's head whipped up, eyes fierce as she glared at him. Don't, she warned. They were his last words. He wanted me to tell you, I don't care. He was good, Luke insisted. There was still good in him. After all, my father was good, Leia thought. But in her mind, she pictured Bail Organa, not Darth Vader. Thinking of Bail made her think of Bria, her mother, of her home, of everything she had lost. When she had spoken to Luke earlier this night, Leia had told him that she remembered the mother they shared, their birth mother. It had been vague images, feelings really, nothing more. But she did have a memory of love, of closeness, of things she could not describe. It was impossible to put her feelings into words, but there was no denying their truth. It felt like a connection, a bond made of light. Yet Luke, who was a Jedi Knight, strong in the Force, had no memory of the woman who had birthed them both. Did he have memories of their father? Was that why he was so capable of forgiving the monster that was Darth Vader? They had been separated at birth, not just from each other, but from their biological parents. Maybe Leia had a connection with their mother, and Luke had a connection with their father. Leia bit back a bitter laugh. Perhaps it wasn't as deep as that. Perhaps it was merely that Luke had never been tortured by their biological father the way she had. What happens next? Luke asked. Leia looked at him. Since becoming a Jedi Knight, he had always seemed so calm, so sure of his direction. He wasn't sure now. His eyes searched hers. He's waiting for me to decide my fate before he chooses his own, she realized. Their blood connection may be new knowledge, but he was also her friend. The threads of fate that had pulled them in separate directions could be rewoven. Beyond Luke, in the shadows, Leia saw the outline of someone else. Han was backlit by a lingering torch, but she recognized his shoulders, his stance. Cocky, even when no one was looking. When his eyes settled on her, he strode directly toward her, his feet loud on the rickety boards of the walkway between the treetop dwellings. Leia had no idea what would happen tomorrow, or the next day, or the next. But as she left Luke in the shadows and met Han on the bridge, she knew exactly what would happen tonight.
Chapter 1. Han. 2 days later.
It's not over yet.
That's what Han had told the rebel pathfinders after he'd left the Imperial base they'd uncovered on the other side of Endor. While the Death Star had been constructed in orbit around the forest moon, a separate communications base had been built on the surface, undamaged in the aftermath of the Death Star's destruction.